Hi guys, today I'm going to be showing you how you can screen record with OBS. It's actually quite straightforward, but there are a few settings to go through, so let's get started. Okay guys, so here we have a kind of blank OBS. Now obviously I do have OBS already installed and recording, but and of course I have obviously adjusted all my settings as per my requirements, but I'm going to try to go through this video tutorial today to just give you a bit of an idea of how you can go ahead and actually set up OBS so that you can record your screen, maybe a webcam and things like that, and then some of the basic settings to go with it. A bit of an overall kind of tutorial, but nothing too in-depth, a bit of a beginner's guide to OBS, okay? So the first thing is that we have all of this stuff on the screen right here, right? We've got our preview window at the top here. This is kind of essentially what's being recorded. We then have all of the options at the top, okay? Things like file, edit, view, docs, all that kind of stuff. Down at the bottom here, we've got a few different panels. We've got the scenes, we've got the sources, we've got the audio mixer, we've got the scene transitions, and then we've got controls, okay? So the first thing we need to do is actually take a look at the scenes. The scenes are like a collection of different sources. So let's hypothetically say that we want to record a desktop, right? And maybe we want to have a webcam, but we want those two things to be different scenes within our video, right? Normally, kind of what I would do here in these videos, I would have the intro scene, which is just me talking to the camera, there's nothing else. And then I would have a desktop scene, and then maybe there might be a different kind of scene as well, right? But we're going to keep it simple. We're going to create two different scenes, and we're going to name them intro and desktop, right? The sources are then basically contained within those scenes, and then we talk about the audio separately. So the first things first, we can see here we've got this blue area just highlighted called scene. We can right click on this and we can rename it. We're going to call this intro, just like so. Click off, and we have now got our intro scene. We can go ahead and hit this little plus icon at the bottom to add another scene. We're going to call this one desktop. Just like so. Click OK. And now we have two scenes, intro and desktop. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is on the intro scene, we're going to come over to the sources, and we're going to hit the little plus icon for a source. We want to capture a video device. I want a camera here. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and click on capture device. We can give this a name. I'm just going to call this DSLR, and we're going to click OK. Now in here, we have the ability to choose the different cameras. I've got a virtual camera, I've got Camlink Pro installed on my PC, so I have 4 different cameras. Now I do have the HDMI Pro or Camlink Pro HDMI 1 multi-view, which is the intro camera. If I turn that one there on, you can see, and I can wave at that one over there. Okay, I can go ahead and click on this by saying OK. And there are a few other settings down here as well. By the way, you can choose the device defaults, or you can put some custom settings in, choosing the resolution, 1920 for example. I can match the FPS and all that kind of stuff. I usually just leave it on default unless I need to change something. Happy with it, click OK. And now we have our kind of camera source in here. Now the thing with this is we should note that my canvas is 4K but the camera is not. So how do we correct that? Well, we can obviously pick it up and move it. We could try to adjust it if we wanted to, or alternatively I can just go ahead and right click on the DSLR source. We can go to transform, and I can go to fit to screen, just like so. Now we have our camera actually on the entire screen. Perfect. Okay, so that's the first one. We can go over to the desktop source next, okay, or scene I should say, and you can see when I click this, it changes back to that black view because it's a whole different collection of different sources. Now in here, what I can do is I can go ahead and hit the plus icon on source, and this time I want a display capture. Now I'm going to leave it as display capture, but you could name this whatever you want. And I'm going to go ahead and click on OK. So they're going to give me the automatic method down here, right? And then it has the different screens that I have that I can then basically go ahead and add to my screen here. In this case, I'm going to use the 1920 by 1080, which is the screen that I'm actually recording this on the other instance of OBS, by the way. But I'm going to go ahead and do that, put that one in, and then I'm going to go ahead and click OK. Now you kind of get this really trippy kind of, video within a video within a video kind of thing. Now again, same concept. This is 1080, but of course I'm using a 4K canvas. So I'm going to go ahead and right click, we're going to go ahead and transform, and then we're going to go ahead and fit to screen. There we go. Now we get this really trippy kind of scene, right? We've got our intro and we've now got our desktop, right? So that's kind of how we would set up the scenes and the sources that were within the scenes. And you can have multiple different things going on. For example, if I want this DSLR, this kind of camera, I can go ahead and right click it. I can go ahead and copy it, come over to my desktop scene, right click on this empty space here, and I can do a paste, which is a reference or a duplicate. I'm going to reference it. Now it's here. What I can do is resize this, and now I can have a little kind of camera down here in the bottom corner if I wanted to. Okay, again, it's a great way to kind of have like a little webcam somewhere on your screen whilst you have your desktop going on, right? Come back to our intro, you can see that it's still the correct size here. It's only referencing this particular source, and it's putting it over here inside of our sources for our scene of the desktop. Now, of course, it is on top. If I put it below, it disappears, right? Because it's lower than the display capture, so it's hidden, right? But if I put that above, then it will stay. We also have the ability to hide using the eye icon, right? We can show and hide different elements as we want to, just like so, okay? So those are kind of how you would have your scenes and your sources. Now, because the DSLR actually has audio built into it, we can see that that's also been picked up here, right? But that might not be the microphone that we want to use. So for this, we can come over to the settings area of in here, but it's not going to give us the ability to add a new microphone, right? This actually is just an area where you can choose where your audio goes. More on that in a bit, I guess. Even if you come down here, you don't really have the option. So you might be thinking, how on earth do you add audio? Well, we actually have to come over to the main settings on the far right hand control panel over here. Click on settings and it's going to bring up all of these things. There's a lot of stuff in here. I'm not going to go through it all. This is a beginner's tutorial, but basically what we're going to do is we're going to click on a couple of key things. First is video. If you don't want a 4K display, then you might want to come in here and adjust it to something like 1920 or even lower, like 720, right? Whatever resolution that you're looking for. Okay, you would basically put that into your base canvas, and then also you would have an output canvas, right? So you can adjust what your output looks like based on your base canvas. Now I just have my base and my output exactly the same, 16:9 4K resolution. Okay, and I also have 30 frames per second on my recordings. That's because I'm doing tutorials, I'm not doing racing games or anything like that, or first-person shooters. You might want to obviously adjust this accordingly, make it 60 frames per second if you wanted to, right? So that's the first thing you need to do, and that's in the video area. After that, you want to go to the output area. Now I have this on advanced because it gives you just a little bit more control, right? So for example, this is a streaming section, then you have a recording, audio, and then buffer. Now I'm going to start with the streaming just so that everyone's aware. Okay, now it might seem really complicated, but it isn't. Right, here you have the streaming settings. What audio tracks do you actually want to send to your stream? Now, you can, of course, have multiple different audio tracks for different things. For example, you might want your microphone on one audio track, music on another, gameplay on another, and so forth. Well, here you can select which track you're going to send to your stream, okay? And of course the encoder I leave, obviously the video encoder to 64, and everything else is kind of there. And of course rescale for the streaming at 1080, right? So those are your kind of streaming settings. Underneath that, there are probably one of the most important ones, which is your bit rate. Now your bit rate by default, I think is like 5,000 kilobits per second. However, you want to make sure that your bitrate is representative of your internet speed, your own internet speed, right? So a good rule of thumb is whatever your upload speed is, half it, and that's what this number should be. So for example, I actually have pretty decent internet here where I get about 900 megabits per second up, right? Now I could go ahead and put in here something stupid like 450,000 kilobits per second or even 4.5 million, whatever it might be, right? But actually, the reality is that you don't need it to be too extreme. You need it to be good enough, but not too crazy. So I generally have this as set at 10,000. So if you've got really good upload speeds, then 10,000 can do you pretty well. If you're rocking something really good, And then you might want this to be, you know, a little bit more, I guess, like conservative, or, you know, a little bit higher, maybe 20,000. My point is that 5,000 generally isn't going to be good enough, but 10,000 for me works quite well. But you might find that actually, you know, I've got really good internet, for example, I could go ahead and make this 50,000 kilobits per second, and it's going to be really good. But ultimately, I generally have that set to 10,000, even though I'm running 900 megabits per second upload speed. It's just a little unnecessary to be any higher, in my opinion. Okay, of course there's a few other settings there, but most of it isn't really that needed. So if you're a streamer, those are the streaming settings that I use, and it streams really well. But again, I'm not streaming anything too intensive, so you might need to play around with the bitrate just a little bit. Anyway, moving over to the recording side, this is one that I do use an awful lot on, this is where we get to choose where we're actually outputting the recordings to, which is quite decent. And of course, whether you want to generate file names without any spaces and all that kind of stuff. And the recording format, I have MPEG-4 or .mp4 for clarity. That is not the default, so you'd have to make sure that you change that if you want MP4 recordings. I find MP4 recordings better, so that's what I use. We use the stream encoder because there's no point in changing that. We also keep the audio encoder exactly the same, and I only output track 1, right? But that's just me. You might want to have different tracks for different things and include them all. But when I do editing in Premiere Pro, I tend to find that I only want to output one track, and that one track includes everything that I'm looking for, right? So that's kind of how you would adjust that. Now, if we head over to audio, I don't generally mess around with this. Everything's at 160 bitrate. I can name them, but I don't bother. And we don't really worry about any of the kind of replay buffer. Now, if I go over to simple, and this is kind of what it looks like normally, it does kind of give you a bit more streamlined kind of stuff, makes it a little bit easier to understand. Your streaming is 10,000 kilobits per second. That's 5,000 by default. I upped that to 10,000. The audio bitrate is 160. The hardware encoder is the NVEC H264, and I go with slow but good quality on the preset, and then the AAC default, right? Then of course I have the recording path. I then have indistinguishable quality for my recordings, which makes them really large in file size, but I think it's worth it. MP4 is the format, and then of course the H264 encoder with the AAC default, and I only take out audio track 1. Okay, so really quite good to kind of take a look at those things, make sure that they're set up. Like I say, I have it on advanced, but it doesn't really matter generally speaking. Next on the list is audio. Now this is where most of those audio settings really come in, because in here you've got lots of different things, right? So straight off the bat, I keep it at 48 kilohertz for the sample rate, and I have it as a mono channel. Now this is because unless you really know what you're doing and you really want stereo sounds, which might be great for gaming, by the way, but for me, when I do tutorials, I only need mono. I need both the left and the right headphone, for example, to be the same. I don't need different levels of volume or different sounds in different ears, you know, so I only have mono. So you can change that. Stereo is default, by the way, though, right? Underneath that, you've got your global audio devices. This is where you set up all of your audio devices, right? So for example, we have desktop audio, but you'll notice that they're all disabled to start with. So we can go ahead and we can choose the different audio source for the desktop. We have 2 for desktop audio 1 and audio 2. We then have mics 1, 2, 3, and 4. So in here is where you'd have all of your microphones, such as the microphone that I'm using right now, which is the Shure MV7 microphone, right? Or if we wanted the audio from the DSLR camera, or cameras in this case, I could choose those as well. So this is where you'd put all of your microphone settings right inside here. Other than that, I don't worry about any of these other keys or any of these other kind of settings, right? So that's pretty much the major settings that you're going to need for OBS in terms of like screen recording and things like that. There are hotkey options which you want to. Basically, you can choose to macro key things in. If you're using something like a Stream Deck, then you can just push a button and bam, you know, you've got all of these different things that you can do. But again, it's more advanced. I'm not going to talk about it today. But basically, in a nutshell, guys, this is how you would set it up. You'd have your different scenes, and your scenes contain your sources. And your sources can be controlled by a hotkey if you want. And then, of course, all your audio devices devices, desktop, DSLR cameras or webcams, or microphones such as the Shure MV7. There are scene transitions, which basically is the transition between, you notice how it fades just briefly between these? That's basically this transition fade over here and how long it lasts. You could adjust that if you wanted to. I don't bother personally. And then of course you've got the controls on the far right hand side, such as start streaming, start recording, start a virtual camera, or go into studio mode. Now studio mode is a really interesting one. If I click it, it gives you two different scenes, right? You've got your preview and then you've got your program. So for example, if I want to go to this one over here, which is basically your intro, right? What's going to happen is it's going to load the intro up on this side, and this is what is currently being recorded or streamed. And basically you can go ahead and transition between the two. So it lets you prep what's going to happen, right? So if you've got someone who's maybe controlling your stream and things like that, well, you could go ahead and set it up on this side, or they could go ahead and set up the next scene, and then they can transition it across to this side here. And then of course you can just, because I've only got two scenes here, we can just transition between the two of them over and over and over again if we wanted to. Again, it's not something that I personally use that much because I'm a one-man band. I am recording, I'm editing, I'm doing it all myself, so I generally don't bother doing that. Instead, I use an Elgato pedal, which basically lets me change all the scenes with my feet so no one sees it, but you know, it is what it is. So all in all, guys, that is basically the nuts and the bolts of OBS and how you would record your screen using this software. Okay guys, so I know that was a bit of a mouthful and a lot to kind of get through, but actually it is quite straightforward once you start using it a little bit. So hopefully this video has worked for you and you found it useful and informative. If you have, make sure to smash that like button for me, hit subscribe for more hints and tips, and I will catch you all in the next one.